Peace, and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. This your brother Knowledge born online. Y'all see, I got the legend in the building right here. You understand?
Salute, salute.
We here. We've been working on remarkable timing. You understand?
All the
We've been
time.
working on all kind of time. Yeah, but we finally got it together. We finally worked out the kinks and the chinks in the armor. So we got a good defense going on
That's
today.
right.
You see
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? We got
That's
we
right.
got
It's
the
all about
legend
the
in the building.
process.
See Lyte Burly in the building.
Facts.
You
Facts.
got the floor. Introduce yourself to the fam. Let us know how you got started. What were some of the motivations, and what got you to the point where you are today.
Oh, okay. Well, for the people, tuning in you know, who haven't been aware of this 52 block movement happening right up under them. My name is Lyte Burly. Years ago, I've always been in the 52 since I was 12. Seen the brothers from Queens doing it. When the 5% Nation was, real big, I had a lot of family in there. So, 52 was very big amongst them, and I grew up seeing it, always loved it, and I kind of picked it up like everybody else did. You imitated what you seen and tried to work it in. All I had at that time,
Right.
all I had was this. I was serious when I was, I could do it all types of speeds. I didn't even know why I was doing
Right.
it, but I knew
Right.
I was on to something. So, I kept it going. I always had was always into martial arts, did karate and stuff. So, fast forward to when I left Queens, I got to Manhattan. I met some good brothers. Mr. G, one of my elders who passed away. Rest in peace. And I met another brother by the name of Ramel. Did a lot of sparring with these brothers and, working out the slap boxing level, and then the next level for me was Roberto Sharpe. And that's when my whole life changed. Roberto Sharpe introduced me to martial arts in the full, the Wing Chun and everything like that. And after graduating with him, I hit his teacher, which was the old man from Virginia, Mr. Wilson Pitts. And Wilson Pitts trained with Georgie Benton, Eddie Futch. He was blessed to see those brothers, the geniuses of the fight game, Mr. Eddie Futch. My teacher sat around him, and he was white. And he was like, I was the only white boy in the gym. And Joe Frazier would walk in the gym every day and say, yo, white boy, they treating you good in here because we gentlemen in here. See, that type of black man. See, that's what he's seen, and that's what he raised up to. And he said these men taught him everything he knew about boxing, watching Georgie Benton. Georgie Benton, he said, would hold up the class so he can go to the bathroom and say, white boy, go hurry up and go to the bathroom before you piss on yourself. I'm going to hold the class up. So this is where that lineage of my boxing came from. So when I started training with Wilson, I told him about 52. He was amazed. He said Georgie Benton and them called it wall boxing, where they would put their fighter against the wall and throw shots. So that way that would take away your need for wanting to go back, and you would have to learn how to go lateral while blocking. And they called it wall boxing. And he was like, a lot of great information has died because men were too selfish to pass it. And he said, you have a duty to spread that information. And from there, I put a DVD out. And now we here, and now we right here. Yeah.
Right. So this progression along the way, before we actually get into the mechanics of your style with your signature, this progression along the way, along the path, you started off with karate. You know, what what would you say is a natural progression after? Because I think that's like fundamental, even though folks don't really have to leave it. You understand? Like, uh, what was it along the path that got you? Like you named some people. So what was it in that you found in the arts, in the analysis of the martial sciences that kept you on that path of progression to where you are? Because you got a lot of tools in your kit
Oh
bag. You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You
I've
got
been
a lot
truly
of tools
blessed.
and
I've been
some
truly
some
blessed.
some dangerous, you know what I'm saying? Some dangerous shit in there. You understand? It ain't like they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna run up on them with the 52 clocks, and then you gonna understand why. Like that's not it.
Yeah,
You
that's not
understand
it.
what I'm
You
saying?
mess around and get arm barred and like, oh shit, what's
Right,
up? And I've
right,
been in those situations.
right.
But see, that's the thing. I think the natural progression of with any arts, or at least with me, I've always been into fighting. Fighting was always my thing. I'm short. We got a Napoleon complex, so I'm from the 80s where light-skinned men were told, they they couldn't compete with the dark-skinned brother. So, we had a lot, we was fighting from a lot of different pressures. So,
Pretty burly, what they call them. Pretty burly, what they call them. That's what's up.
Facts. So I had a
That's
lot of
what's
pressures
up.
on me. So, fighting has always been my thing. But I meet a lot of brothers and they tell me, I did this art, I've done that art. And, they have this whole thing. And that's cool. But what I've learned with the arts is the mechanic and what the art's trying to say. What is the art really trying to say to you? Like a love song or a hip hop song. I think if you get on that and you understand that wavelength of thinking, I've learned that I can make any art useful for me now. Like, it's not, you don't have to show me the form. Just tell me what the art is trying to say and I'll do it. So my natural progression of karate is really just kick ass hands and feet. Boxing is kick ass hands. Wrestling is kick ass, no striking. So every art is saying something. And I think if you follow that, you can make every art useful. What is 52 trying to say? You ain't going to just be standing there punching on me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to just, it's the art that says it shows respect. It shows respect to your opponent. A lot of arts don't show respect to your opponent. Like, I've been in a lot of Wing Chun things, and they're like, well, I'll just move in, close off the space, and and do what I got to do. That sounds good, but have you ever tried that with a 350-pound man? Move in and close the space on him and see if he don't eat you alive. You know what I'm saying? So certain arts don't respect that man. 52 is the one art out of all of them that says respect your opponent. So have some defense. Don't think you're just going to be here kicking ass and you ain't leaving with, you ain't missing with, you ain't leaving with some scars. So I think I think 52 with being the only art that's saying self-preservation is the reason why it needs to be studied, and just like any other art. So like I said, I progress because different arts say different things to you, and I think if you want to be a full warrior, you have to listen to the main groups. It's like main food groups. In fighting, there's 3 basic food groups: punching, kicking, and wrestling. That's it. There ain't nothing more to do than that. Everything else comes from that game. Elbows come from punching, knees comes from kicking, headbutting comes from grappling. So everything is in there. So I think if you are a warrior, you want to know how to study all 3 of those groups. And then the missing link sitting outside those 3 groups is defense, self-preservation, 52 blocks.
So now the other components, like we see and we know the martial sciences for the physicality. Now let's talk about the other 2 aspects. You see what I'm saying? The mental and the spiritual transformation that happens with the proper application of the martial sciences. Because we saw, like, most of our, if you're not a practitioner, most of our education in regards to mimicking what we see came from kung fu flicks. So more the emphasis was placed on, trying to throw a kick or a punch, or, doing a little home boxing, shadow boxing, things like that, but not the emphasis on, diet, health, well-being, overall mental stability, emotional, psychological, spiritual development in those processes. Can you touch on, some of those experiences as well?
Oh, for sure. I think, like I said, I think that plays into being the full warrior. And the Chinese and like in Kung Fu, you always hear, the mind, body, and spirit with them. But that's, a universal thing. So when entering the fight, I believe if you have all those 3 boxes checked off, you become invincible. What I call invincible. Meaning, if I get into a fight, physically, am I ready? Was I training? Was I, running my laps, doing my, mentally, do I have a strategy? Am I smart enough to execute a strategy? spiritually, what is my cause of fighting? So a lot of people that fight, they never really have all three of those boxes checked off. So the fight always goes wiki wacky. You know what I'm saying? When you in line with all three, then like I said, you become the invincible fighter. And let's say for whatever reasons it seems like you didn't win, you become the martyr. You'll become the immortal soldier forever. So you still win. So the physical aspect is you got to train. You can't talk. I'm training and then you fight for 30 seconds and you run out of air. Right. You can't be a fool. Like I remember I went to the doctor one time and I was in there and they asked me what I do and I was like, I'm a boxer. I said boxer. I should have said martial art. The boxer rolled off and I had a book and he walked out. He came back in. He said, "Oh, I ain't no boxers read." So exactly. So increasing your mental is big too. You don't want to just be all brawn and no mind. So you should be reading. You should be understanding, universal laws, strategic laws. And then for your spiritual, you should have a cause, and your cause must be just, as I say. And if your cause is just, then you'll fight like a banshee. That's why, you see those, the brothers out there in the Middle East, they fight in tanks with rocks, because they believe in their cause. When your cause is just, you'll run up against the tank with it, with a stick, and mess around and bring the tank down. The David and Goliath thing, like the whole point of the David and Goliath was he was outsized, he was outmatched. But his will wasn't outmatched. His will was bigger than Goliath's, and that's something else that you can build in fighting. So yes, I believe that all three boxes must be checked if you're going to fight. If I can't check all three boxes, then I'm not fighting. Like if you get me upset, like some road rage bullshit, I could jump out the car and kick your ass. I'm trained to. And I'm pretty sure I can look and see, oh, he eating jelly donuts. He ain't ready for this right hand. I'm like Mike McCallum, the body snatcher with this. So, what's my place? Like my teacher, Wilson Pitts, he leaned into me one time once he knew I was good. He said, "You know what now? Don't put your hands on the civilians." Now, that was like a mind fuck. He just trained me into a weapon and then told me not to hit nobody. What type of fuckery is this? But that's the type of mind twist you need to build your spiritual. Or so, because you'll be walking out there hitting people with right hands because they looked at you the wrong way. So that's when everything has to be in order. You look at Mike Tyson. Why did Mike's career go off the track? He had the body. He was a killer. Mentally, he had Customato, one of the greatest trainers ever. But spiritually, he wasn't there. And because of that, he was getting in fights outside the ring and allowing evil people to steal his energy and steal his money while they were at it. So I believe, yes, all three have to be touched. And if you can't check off all three, then you shouldn't be going to war. That should tell you that you shouldn't be fighting that fight.
Okay, so we can get into some of the modalities of training. How do you take someone mentally, in all of those aspects that you're saying? How do you take someone from a novice in the mind to, a space where they have the confidence in themselves to execute technique properly? You know what I mean? So from that space.
Well, I pardon this. I think that that is one of the biggest things that you have to deal with when teaching somebody from the beginning level is that over technique, what you're really building is confidence, and that's why a lot of times people see me. I got the gloves backwards, and I'm training my students, and that's because sparring is a stressful situation. So you want to try to teach people under a good situation that kind of makes it less stressful, but they still, you know, they still get the message and they still feel like, you know, they're executing under pressure. So when training, taking somebody from the lower levels, it's all fundamentals. Like, you know, I've had many times that people have come to train with me, and I guess they expected me to teach them a whole bunch of arm shapes. And when that didn't happen, I never seen them again. You know, I got them running around the track and stuff and doing some real intense stuff. They didn't come for that. So, you know, with me, the beginners have to have the right fundamentals. Fundamentals is everything. If your fundamentals ain't right, then you can't build a house. It's like trying to build a house without the foundation. So anybody who trains with me, and you know, you see this people I call Burleys, and people who get that last name is because they put in the work, and I burnt them, like, and they can tell you, like, it hurts. It hurts. I make it hurt. I ain't even playing with you, because the soldiers I'm trying to make, like, I can say right now on my record, everybody that I've trained, these are not guys you want to run up on, you know. And I'm not saying they can kick ass, you know, to kick the, you know, they're world class ass kickers, but they're gonna give you some problems. It's gonna be some problems. It's gonna be lots of problems, and it's because of their defensive awareness, you know, their ability to see what's coming and work around that. And so, you know, like I said, I spend a lot of time when training my new guys in a lot of fundamentals. Fundamentals are everything.
Yeah, I mean, those are the building blocks. You know, those are the building blocks. That's how the foundation is firm.
That's
So
right.
it sounds like you use a lot of different techniques to weed out and to see like worthiness. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? You know, they're proving something to themselves. They don't know it. They think they're proving something to you, and they find themselves along the path. You see what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? So they find themselves along that path, and you know that's a beautiful experience when they actually get that together. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
In Supreme Mathematics, we call that understanding. That's the best part. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So
That's right.
that's there. You know, so we dealing with that sacred science of self through the rest.
Yeah.
through the rest initially, but then a blessing, you know, along the way. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's right.
I got my brother Ben. Look at him looking fresh. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I'm out here simple. I'm out here simple. You see what I'm saying? That's nothing on today, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
oh,
let me get Ben up in
hold
the
on one
building.
second. Let me get this charger. Hold on, my phone getting a little weak.
All right.
Yo, I'm live.
Peace,
I'm on
peace,
here.
peace. Yeah,
Peace. What's happening, Knowledge Born? Lyte Burly in the
hey,
building.
yeah, yeah.
Bullshit ass. All right, there we go. We rocking
Hey,
now.
so Lyte, I got a question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm a frequent viewer of your videos, right? You know what I'm saying?
Salute.
I come from a Pops was a third degree Ish and Rule guy. I come from that background. Then I trained in Wing Chun, you know what I'm saying, a little mashed up for a minute, but the seafood turned out to be a little bit bogus. So I'm at the point where like I don't wipe clean. I just want to reset. I don't know nothing, right?
Like that.
I'm out here in Indianapolis in Indiana, Naptown, right? I really don't have anybody to train with, and I understand that you need to kind of keep it live when you train, you know what I'm saying, as far as reflexes and like that. Do you have any recommendations? Are there any kind of solo drills or anything that you can recommend
Well, you know,
for somebody in my type of situation? Because I'm so far from the East Coast, I really want to get out there and train with you, but I can't right now.
Facts. Well, I think that kind of like that kind of sets it up for me to, to plug the online course.
Oh,
learn-martialarts.com. I have an online 52 block course, which is
let me
it's
get it one
500
more time
levels.
so I can put it up so
Yeah.
they'll see it.
Okay. Yeah. It's
What is it?
5 levels, 100 lessons a level. So it's 500 lessons. And within that, there's, many drills I give that you can work with for yourself and still build, the reaction time. And then in the 5th level, we got the sparring level. So where you can have people throwing punches at you, you can get your partner to throw punches at you and work with, and start putting your fundamentals. Because once again, when you go to my thing, you'll see that I'm basically really about fundamentals and reviewing those fundamentals. So I worked with a lot of people that I flew to Denmark. I got to salute my brother, Mr. Fleming Larson, who took me out there to Denmark. He is the #1 student on the online course, and to go out there and see him doing it from the online course, kind of let me know that got one of the illest online courses. Because when before it, my partner who over at that helped me put this together, when he came to me with the online course, I wasn't too sure about it because I heard a couple of offers, but I didn't really think you can really teach people like that. But I believe if you're trying to teach technical, it makes it hard to do on an online course. But if you're teaching fundamentals, then yeah, you can pick. It's like reading the book, but visually. So yeah, you can pick up stuff. So
What's
I
the
would definitely
website
recommend.
one more time? Put it up here.
Huh?
What's the website?
That's
Can you repeat the website one more time?
Yeah, learn-martialarts.com. Yeah, martial arts all one word.com. Yeah, so I would say, in that online course, that's a good way to start it. And by this summertime, I'm going to put together a little GoFundMe page. Yeah, like a dash. Instead of the slash, more like a dash. Yeah. So I'm going to put together a GoFundMe page to do a 52 block tour. And I want to try to hit as many states as possible. Get into the good places. I want to get to where the fist fighting should be happening, but it ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? I want to get to those areas and get it live on tape so they can see, we serious about this and move it around. And hopefully I can get out there to Indianapolis because everybody know Burly loves to travel. I love to take my stuff on the road. Yes.
So that's correct right there?
Martial arts. Yep, that's the martial. I think you forgot the arts.
Oh,
Martial arts.
right.
Yeah. .com. And lyteburly.com, the website. I got digital downloads. I think right now I'm definitely leading the pack in the most online accessible instructional videos. I had the DVDs, but we switched to digital to make it a little more cleaner because, our USPS postal system don't be doing what it's supposed to do. So now we all digital, 8 DVDs. We got the foot, we got the clothes, I brought out, I'm really proud of these right here. We got the card sets. So in this card deck right here, you get all of the blocks, picture wise, they're all done out, card wise. We had to do that because 52 has always been, associated with the cards. So, a good friend of mine, Peter Couts had gave me the idea, so we had to do that for him. This one here just has the name of the blocks on them, has all the names of the blocks. Good for flashcards, good for training, good for just entertainment purposes if you're just trying to look slick with your 52. You know what I'm saying? So, the cards, the DVDs. I got a book out, The Legendary Art of 52 Blocks. Eventually, I'm going to have two digital books. One called Kelsey's Son, which is kind of like a science fiction book. You know, it's giving our Black queens power. You know, she's a young African queen that knows 52 blocks. She comes to America to bust up the sex trade. She's going to be busting up the Uber sex trade, busting everybody down with elbows, skulls, and bones. Kelsey Sutton, it's already written. I got an artist drawing up the illustration now. We're getting crazy. Then my other book, Warrior Tips. It's everything you would need. Mental, as we was talking about before, the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of fighting. You know, my thoughts on it, and I use my experiences being challenged. You know, I've been challenged. You know, I've loved my 52 block journey, but if I had anything I didn't like about my 52 block, and I'm not going to say, because I'm not even into what I didn't like or what I don't like. It's all the same. It is what it is. But my brothers, a lot of my brothers, because of, I believe to be some of the trickiest stuff that was done to us was, turning us against each other, and I had more of my brothers come challenge me in that park than Chinese people. And I was looking for the Chinese people. Right. You go back in my videos, right. I was calling for the Muay Thai, the Filipinos, because I want to go culture against culture. I ain't want to go me against my peoples. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing, if I look back at it, that wasn't unfavorable. But, you fast forward all the way up to now, I walk in the store and I got my young Black warriors walking up on me like, salute you, Mr. Lyte Burly. You're the GOAT. You're a legend. Thank you for doing what you're doing. So it all came back around. It just took some time. So in 2020, that's my focus, is really pushing the agenda of the cultural aspects of 52. That this is, I don't want to just say Black excellence, but this is our input on fighting, and I think it needs. Right. I think it needs to be not only respected more, but just acknowledged more. Like, right. People look at Mayweather and they don't give him his credit. They say, oh, he was running. Black people don't run. We just ain't going to stand there and let you beat us all upside our head. We're not with that. Right. You know what I'm saying? We don't make the best brawlers. I think, if and I've done, I am a student of the game. The best brawler we ever had was Marvin Hagler. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else fought differently. You know what I'm saying? And even Marvin Hagler wasn't about just staying there. So this is our thing. I think it needs to be acknowledged and fight more. If you look at boxing, you see the Black style of fighting is what's leading boxing now. You look at the Ukrainians. What you think Lomachenko doing? And I'm not taking nothing away from Loma, but where you think Loma's style of fighting comes from? That's us. And I think it needs to be acknowledged. And now that we have an art that we always had, but now that our art 52 is getting more traction, they'll see that this is what we do, from basketball to fighting. It's nothing different. This is just what we do. This is our knack, and this is our knack at fighting, and we express it in the art called 52 Blocks.
Right. I know. Grandmaster Sijo Sabir Muhammad, who went by Steve Muhammad and Steve Sanders back in the day, he said that Bruce Lee told him that he had the fastest hands and feet of any American fighter that he had ever seen. And he said that Bruce Lee would send people to record him fight ever since he was a white belt. You see what I'm saying? So these are incorporations of stories that are never told. Black Belt Magazine ain't going, talk about what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so many unsungs who have come from a cultural perspective, whether it be African-centered martial arts or, in the Orient. You understand? Who have rose to esteem and beat the best in the world. Right. You understand? Like, they don't get talked about. You see what I'm saying? Dr. Victor Moore, he doesn't get talked about. You see what I'm saying? So we have to open our doors and our hearts to our family and allow them the space to tell their story and celebrate them. You see
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? That's why I reached out. You see what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? Because I spoke to Dr. Victor Moore. You see what I'm saying? I spoke to, C. Joseph bin Muhammad. You see what I'm saying? Like, these are grandmasters, like, and with no acknowledgement. You see what I'm saying? And they beat people's ass. Like the best of the best. They beat their ass. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Like, and they don't. They're not pushed out anywhere. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might see Jim Kelly. You see what I'm saying? You might see Jim Kelly out there a little bit from back in the day, but they're not brought to the forefront. So, like, again, with this cultural shift in thought and movement, it really awakens the mind back up to what it is. You see
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? So, yeah, however I can help aid and assist in that, painting that picture properly and, helping you get around, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You just let me
Absolutely.
know. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, what I want to do for the people that are listening, family got questions, they got comments, there's a lot of stuff that's here.
Hey, I'm
So
with
I'm
it.
gonna put the link and I'll take one person at a time. If y'all got a question or a comment to ask, Lyte Burly directly, and then we can get back into Ben because Ben got some more. I can see it in his eyes. He
Hey,
got some
hey,
more. So
hey,
I
hey,
want
hey.
man for sure.
Hello,
Ben get it
hello.
in. You
Hit me
understand what
with it. Hit me with
I
it.
put there, and I can only. I'm only gonna take one person at a time. So if y'all got questions, y'all can ask him directly. You know what I'm saying? So I'll do that. I'll put the link in here. And y'all just hit the link, and I'll bring the people in one by one. So y'all see it. My brother Shebang Dynamic a lot. He hit me and he was like, he kind of asked the same question as Ben. He's in VA. So, do you have any recommendations for people that are in particular areas? I know we got the website. You see what I'm saying? They like Ben and Shebang. They want some smoke. They want somebody to beat up on them or try to beat up on them. You understand what I'm saying? They want some contact. They want some Mortal Kombat. You understand what I'm saying? So, do you have any recommendations for in any of those places that you recommend?
Um, well, I think right now that's this year too. That's something I really want to work on is getting more instructors out there. Like instructional in California. I got one of my top students. It's probably the top student, which is Bully Burly. You go out there to Vegas. You got Vegas Burly. You got my homie Earl out there in Vegas. Um, Upstate, you got Peter Couch out there in UK. You got Dank. David Wells. So we opening it up right now, but I think by way of the online course, I'll be able to certify more instructors under the style that I teach, so that we can have more instructors out there. I think right now, that's what we need more of. Like, we got good brothers that supporting it. Peace to Frazier Diallo, my 52 block Bedouin. He's out there with Ludacris, Lorenz Tate. They fast and furious. They got they doing big things over there. Sensei Mo, who had me in the school teaching, very good brother. He's doing good stuff with 52. So, there's some people out there, but, anybody wanting to follow more of what I do, right now is the online course, the website and the seminars. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be moving around this summer, and where there's fire, there's smoke. If anybody know anything about Lyte Burly, that's all we do. Like, there's but so much talking, and then we got to let the fist
Right.
talk to the face. And you know what I'm
Gotta
saying?
let the
And then
fist talk to
that's the
the
next level
face.
of understanding.
That's
So,
it.
that I think that, and we had fun with it. When I went to Denmark, I sparred all of those guys out there, and those guys were instructors and hard hitters, man. And it was a different culture. It was a different culture, and they brought, everybody calf muscle looked like Pacquiao out there. The shit was crazy.
Mm.
So everybody hitting like a donkey. So sparring with them, you couldn't mess around and take too many shots from those guys. And I was in my socks sliding on the wooden floor, so I'm about that, because I believe, like, I said in one of my videos, I'm not one of those throw the punch, here I catch it, I take you down, I
Right.
grab your jaw, I rip you, I
Right.
kick you out. And I'm not disrespecting none of the brothers. I'm just saying, really,
Hey.
it's a kung fu
Yeah.
hustle, and it was a cool way of keeping people in the game more mentally. It sound good, so it keeps people in the game, but it's not real. And I'm here as Lyte Burly to change all of that. You know, I'm you know, through 52, I'm attacking all levels of martial art teaching. You know, I believe it's the teachers that have an obligation to give these students the right thing. And that's why me and the Wing Chun community got so much in the uproar. They was mad because I just kicked in the truth. Y'all don't spar. All of them drills, you get in front of me and I'm gonna tighten you up. And I've done it. Like, you know, I was out there with Dominic Izzo. He can tell you, you know, I was there, you know, I sparred and I showed my point that fighting can't be that set up, because it's not. You got to think a fight is chaos. And to be a good fighter, you got to become an organizer of chaos. And that's what I teach people to do. I don't teach them any certain technique. I teach them how to organize chaos so they master any technique. And, you know, the Burly brand is on the rise because of that. And that's what, you know, like you said, outside of 52, I teach combat Wing Chun. I teach combat Tai-Chi, combat PA-KUA, combat kickboxing. You know, I'm talking, you know, when you on concrete and on level ground, what kick are you using? I'm talking about that, you know. So that's where I'm, you know, I'm taking it and using 52 blocks as the backdrop, which is all that's good, but it means nothing without defense. Like, you know, as we spoke about before, if you do an art long enough, it starts to seep into other parts of your life. So think about it. If you got a killer art and it starts to seep in your life, your wife gets mad, you left hooker. You know, you're a Muay Thai man, your wife gets mad, you leg kick her and break her. You know what I'm saying? Like, your anger, who you are is going to come out through your anger. Now, if you're a defensive man and your wife gets you mad, what do? Your third eye is open. See, defense is humility. You know, that's mercy. Look, I in my last fight, I was able to show my Sean, and he came to the park. I beat him up in 46 seconds. It's on my DVD. They took the video down because I was getting so many hits. They was mad at me. But I beat him up in 46 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And what I showed in that fight is that in any moment, I could have scraped him, but I didn't, because I'm good enough to show mercy. So I believe if offense is all you got, then you're just a monster. You know, you're a kill switch, and that's not fighting. That's, you know, eventually you're going to run into the one that, you know, you can't just kill switch on, and then he checks you. Right. But if you fight with your third eye, you know, you can fight giants. Like, if you look at me, look at the people I spar. You know, I went to one sparring match where everybody kept the gloves on the right way, and I kept my gloves on backwards. And what I'm trying to show you is my defense is so good, I can fight from a handicap and still make you pay a price. They got the gloves on the right way. They can knock me out. The cameras are rolling. None of my stuff is rehearsed. If you knock Lyte Burly out on camera, then that's good for you. And I fought when I was in Tampa, Florida. One of the dudes I sparred was Keith Thurman's understudy, 67 amateur fights. He came to bang, and he hit me. He left hooked the shit out of me. The whole room got quiet. And I looked around like, what? You know, Burly got a chin, baby. You know what I'm saying? Don't think when all these blocks fail, that chin ready. And I give back. So I think that's the real side that I'm introducing to my level of coaching and instructing, where no more fake teaching. Because, you know, I've ran into so many students that they're giving false lessons. And maybe the teachers did it indirectly or directly. I don't know. But all I know is it stops now. And it definitely stops with my young black warriors. They got Burly now. We're giving up the jewels.
Right. Let me bring in one brother, my brother Malik. See if he got a question or comment. And before I do that, I see another question over here. Are the courses downloadable from the website? Can people download them? You heard me, Lyte?
Yeah, pardon that. People are
You heard
trying
me?
to call me. I had to shut them down.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I said, are the courses, are they downloadable?
Yo.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Can
think
you
I
hear me?
lost some sound.
You might have to go out and come back in.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm not hearing you. Lost some sound. Yep. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I got the
Can you hear?
I'm coming through the other way. Give me 1 second.
So Ben, can you hear?
One, two.
Peace.
I'm back. You hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm coming in through. Yeah, there we go. I came in through my other one.
Okay. Yeah, we hear you, Malik.
Yeah, I just had
Malik.
a few questions and a comment. First of all, much respect to
Salute.
your for system. First question have you guys fought any MMA fighters?
Do we have we ever fought MMA fighters, or do we have MMA fighters?
Have you ever fought any?
Yeah. I fought LEI-TAI. I competed in LEI-TAI rules, and I'm not too sure if you know what LEI-TAI is. It pretty much just really means raised platform. So you fight on a raised platform. They give you extra points if you can like drop the person off the platform head first, face first, kick punched off the platform. And then the next level is Sandar. And then usually the Sandar fighters usually went on to Pride and MMA.
Okay.
And I competed in LEI-TAI for 2 years. I fought the Russian that was the champion. I lost the fight to go to Singapore. But yeah, we definitely did that. Still there? You still there?
Yeah, Malik, you had another
Have you
question?
ever thought about incorporating ground fighting to?
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe that
Yeah.
as a
Have you ever considered incorporating ground fighting?
oh yeah, definitely. Oh yes, definitely. I think as I was saying earlier in the broadcast, there's only really three main groups of fighting, which is punching, kicking, and wrestling. And I believe if you're going to be, a well-rounded fighter, you definitely need to know how to grapple and wrestle, and which I do. I grapple, I wrestle, and it's easily integrated into wrestling for sure. I believe it to be one of the best arts for integrating with any art, like because it's a defensive art. It's all defense. So it's not too many different arts it can't be paired with. So it works well with wrestling, grappling, punching, kicking, stick fighting. You know, you could throw it up in there with all of that.
Have you ever like trying to see if UFC would like be interested in coach, like training up and coming UFC fighters 52 blocks?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I got a fighter by the name of Christian Alacara who trains with Ray Longo. You know, he's pretty much one of the big promoters in the MMA
Hello?
division. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you fine. I don't know. Maybe he might hear. We might have a delay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So Ray Longo, he's one of the big promoters in the MMA world. And I trained one of his fighters named Christian Alacara, who's an MMA fighter. His next fight is his last amateur fight, and then we're going pro.
You guys.
So can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Oh yeah. So so I'm working with one of Ray Longo's fighters. His last amateur fight is going to be his next fight, and he's going professional. So through him, I'm definitely looking to get into training more mixed martial arts fighters. So definitely.
Last thing I was gonna make a comment is there's on YouTube and they trash you. I was gonna say it seems like they pretty much have anybody come on and wants to fight. I was gonna say maybe you could like yourself or somebody could go on there to demonstrate the 52. A lot of people aren't exposed to it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think great idea. If you can, share that link. I'm not what's the name of the place that you're talking about? What show? And definitely, I would love to reach out to them. We just did Hidden Colors, which was big. Salute to the brothers over at Hidden Colors for letting your boy Lyte Burly represent on that thing there. That was big business. But yeah, drop the name of that show, and I'll definitely reach out to them and and see if they want to go deep into the world of 52 blocks.
Right.
Thanks for the question, though. Salute.
I'm gonna go. Let me get my brother Brandon Bay up in here in the building.
Peace.
Hey.
All right, peace to you, brothers. Peace, knowledge. Peace to you, Lyte Burly. I wanted to ask you a few, two, maybe three quick questions.
Okay.
I watch a lot of your videos, and I consider 52 blocks a martial arts, as it practices many principles. So I just want to ask you, from your point of view and your standpoint, how important is it, the adaptive nature of 52 blocks? How important is that in the martial arts?
I think it's the elephant in the room. As they say, everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody going to die. And I think that is 52. Is that a lot of techniques they give us. So I teach you I teach you how to throw a left hook. You know, you get into a situation, you know, a confrontation with somebody, and you know, you get ready to throw your left. You know, you set up, you get ready to throw your left hook, and they pull a stick from out their pocket and hit you over the head. Now you was ready to execute your technique. It's just the situation wasn't ready for the left hook. So the adaptability is everything, because you must fit the situation. Fighting is like dancing. If they're doing Zumba, you can't be balleting, like, because y'all both would be out of sync. When you and your opponent must be in sync, and your adaptability is what keeps you in sync to your opponent. So you know what to do. Like, people always ask me, you know, like how you know which block to use, and I was like, I don't. The person tells me which block to use. If you come out and you swing round, and I'm looking at using round blocks that block round punches. If you come out snapping your hands and you got a naturally straight good strike, then I'm gonna use blocks that block straight lines. So it's really that simple. So that way, you know, you're seeing deep instead of seeing small. Like, you know, you're seeing the big picture, which is what I said earlier, is that in real situations, you have to learn how to be an organizer of chaos, not a master of techniques. Masters of techniques get thrown under the trash dumpster. You know what I'm saying? Organizers of chaos, oh, those guys are master warriors, because there's nothing you can't present to them that they won't adapt to. And I think so. What you're saying is so powerful, is that adaptability is everything. And I think 52 blocks is one of the, if not one of the only arts that's really actually focusing on that. Like, I tell people that every art has an attack place. Like, if you look at boxing, they pretty much want to punch you in your body and face. They're attacking your body and face. You look at Muay Thai, low line kicks. You look at grapplers, they want to grab you. What is 52 blocks really attacking? Like, you know, at being a defensive art, what is it really attacking? And, you know, a lot of people, you know, they don't get it. 52 blocks is the only art that attacks your eyes, your perception of the world. That's the greatest thing in the world. If I control your perception, you'll never get off. If I make you perceive that you're already a loser, you can have all of the winning tools in your tool belt and you're still going to lose, because I control your perception. So 52 controls perception. It's attacking a man's perception, and that makes it so large that its adaptability powers are, you know, uncanny, unearthly, unworldly, and all of those big words.
All right. I wanted to ask you one more question, and I want to let you get back to your bill with the brothers. I've watched videos where you balance a tennis ball on a wall.
Yes.
Which I find to be extremely interesting.
Yes.
And it's the way that you move your feet that catches my attention. I pay attention to the way people move in fights, and to see the way that you move your feet is pretty amazing. So my question is, how important is your foot movement in comparison to your balance when you're executing movement overall?
Man. Yes, it's very important. Real defeat happens in the feet. You know, you get it? Defeat. You know? So real defeat happens in the feet. Most people lose the fight in their feet. Like, a lot of times you'll hear them say, most fights go to the ground, and that's because of feet, intelligence and balance. So yes, foot intelligence is everything. It's the one of the greatest boxers, Tommy Lauren, I think he was quoted as saying, "It is my feet that carry me to and from the battle." You know, so that's where everything lies at. Everything in your ability to balance yourself. And that's in life too. You know, you can take that message in life. Just you know, standing up as a man. You know, you stand up on your feet. You know, you stand and you stand correctly. You know, man is the connection between heaven and earth, standing straight up, and that's why you know, kung fu is good, but it's meant to also be like an adjective, because you know we can't actually fight like snakes or cranes, but we can fight like humans. And as a human, you have 2 feet, and if you learn how to properly balance yourself in your 2 feet, you will change your connection to Mother Earth itself. You will learn how to use gravity. Gravity becomes your friend. Like a wrestler told me when I met one wrestler, he said, you know, when you fight me, you fighting 2 people. And I was like, well, who you got? He said, me in the ground, punk. And he was correct. When you fight a wrestler, you're actually fighting 2 people. You're fighting him and his execution of gravity, introducing you to the ground. So I believe in footwork is everything. You know, if anybody who watches my videos, you know, footwork is everything. Like I get to certain places and, you know, I do my thing where I'm just being defensive and I'm moving around. I get a lot of people, you know, like, how, you know, why don't you block and stand here? And that wouldn't make sense. Like that would be like, you know, that'd go against physics for me to be able to stand in one place and block all your shots. But if I'm moving, you know, that makes it very harder for you to land the shot, and I'm blocking. So it's like a double defense. I got blocks going and I got my feet moving. So, you know, getting back to what you were saying with the ball is that I use that to help me to understand switching weight in my feet and adding sensitivity to my arm. So now, you know, when I'm dealing with wrestlers, and I deal with a lot of grapplers who want to see what 52 is under a grappler situation, and I'm using that sensitivity that I use from the ball rolling and the switching of my feet to kind of like metaphorically rip the rug from under them. You know, it's kind of like getting the person to stand on the rug and then you snatch the rug from under them. That's what I do using the balance in my feet to wrestlers and grapplers. So yes, balance and switching the weight in your feet and having foot intelligence is so important. You know, the Chinese believe you got 2 brains, one at the top of your head and one in the sole of your feet. And I think if you wake up the brain in your feet, oh my God, your fight game is gonna jump levels. You know, your hands are servants of the feet, truly. Like if you were in the dark hallway and they turned off all the lights and asked you how to get down the hallway, you would stick your hands in front of your face so you wouldn't bump into nothing in the wall. So the hands serve the feet. So the smarter your feet, the smarter your hands.
Okay. I just got one more question and I'm out.
Go ahead, hit me with it. Go ahead, hit me.
All right. As far as moving forward into the future, what do you feel is the more influential way to introduce 52 blocks to the younger generation, as it teaches a plethora of things to the younger generation? So what do you think moving forward would be the best thing utilizing 52 blocks to implement self-discipline amongst the youth within our communities? And that's my last question. Thank you very much, my brother.
Salute. Great questions. Salute. Thanks for you know, serving these questions. You know, you need good questions so you know you can have the answers to knock them out the park. And you know, that was something I thought about when I first started this 52 block thing, because 52 blocks has mainly been more readily remembered by men over their 40s, maybe some 35, but usually 40 and up. You know, you can remember that time in New York when we was using that 52. So, you know, so I was always thinking about how could we attract the younger generation. And what it is, you know, what I figured out is nobody wants to get beat up, you know, and I think from that source where comes all the fears of fighting, while most people are in the dojo now because they don't want to get beat up. And but the thing with fighting is that not everybody is made to kill. Not like certain arts are so strong that they require a certain type of mind state. Like I met a guy that was doing Krav Maga, And I'm like, what do you do for work? You know, he's like, he's like a plumber. And I'm like, then why the hell are you training Krav Maga? What could be going on in a plumber's life that you need Krav Maga? Like, do you know what that represents? That's like soldiers of war are using that to rip people's faces off to stop them from detonating bombs and stuff. So it's like, what does the lame man need with Krav Maga? Some of these martial arts have been overselling themselves and adding to Krav Maga. You can win a street fight with a jab in the right hand, let alone rip his nose off and stick it in his butt, or, take his arm off, rip his arm off and beat him over his head with it. Regular people can't just do that. So to me, the most attractive thing with 52 is defense. And that's what I introduce to people. Not everybody is made to be an offensive killer, but everybody is made to protect themselves. Every man, woman, child walking this rock, has a natural inclination to protecting themselves over offense. Offense is learned. You just don't know how to punch. You just don't know how to kick. You got to learn those things. But blocking is different. If I tried to hit somebody, you would do something that looked like a untrained skull and bones. Naturally, your arms would jump in front of your face. So I believe defense is natural. And to promote it to the young warriors of that, you need to learn how to be defensive. Because if you learn how to be defensive, guess what you can do? You can learn mercy. And not every fight has to be where somebody has to get hurt. In my last fight, I did defeat the guy in 46 seconds, and I never hurt him. I beat him up, I damaged him, but he was never hurt. He got to walk away out that park. He didn't limp away. There was no blood trail. We ain't need no stitches, because if you're a defensive fighter, you have the ability to show mercy. And that is the greatest tool in the fighter's tool belt, is the tool of mercy. But the double-edged sword to mercy is, most people don't use mercy because, they're still scared. They're either cowards or they're still grappling with fear. Mercy is a brave component, and that's what people don't understand. The bravest man can show you mercy. Like, if you seen Mayweather today and said, fuck you, Mayweather can show you mercy because he knows he can kill you. With a couple of punches, he can mess around and fuck up and screw your whole life over. So it's usually the men with the most skill that can show mercy. So I believe 52 blocks defense allows you to show mercy. And I young men now are running up on me today, and they call me legend and GOAT, and it blows me over. If you look at my early beginners, you can compare them to like a Detroit Red to a Malcolm X. I wasn't always Mr. Lyte Burly. And now I get a chance to give back and fix some of the chaos I caused in my own Black community, because I got some karma I need to clean up. And now I get a chance to do it through 52. So, I'm spreading the word of defense, like, to every man listening, to every young Black warrior, listen, I can teach you how to self-preserve yourself, the greatest lesson in fighting. Instead of killing the man, why don't you learn how to save yourself? So I think that right there is the carrot over the donkey that's bringing them all in, and it's irresistible. Defense is irresistible. So salute, and thanks for the questions.
Thank you, my brother.
Salute.
All right, Brandon. If Brandon ever asks you, he got a couple of questions for you. He's going to stretch the deepest recesses of your imagination. Ain't no such thing as a few quick questions with my brother, man. That's why I love him. And, he was really excited and enthused to be, on the platform with you. You know what I'm saying? So.
Salute. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. So fire away.
You got the floor, Ben. You got the floor, Ben. What's going on?
Yo, yeah, man. Time perfect because I gotta my battery running down. I gotta get ready for a client in a minute. But you know, you touched on so many things that I was already gonna ask about or comment on, especially with the Wing Chun thing and like Izzo. Like I watched that whole thing, and that's so important. I was glad that when I got taught Wing Chun, it was more modified. He had a thing called the clock theory, basically, where we kind of a little bit walking that line with Bagua, like the 8 directions. So it was like we would be on that straight line, but move on them angles like you were demonstrating. So I thought that was pretty dope that you touched upon that. I did have I had a couple questions. Have you ever squared up with anybody that with a Salat practitioner, and what do you think about Salat?
My friend Ian was in the he was in the Salat, Panatukan, you know, those type of arts. You know, Ian the Dean of me, and salute to Ian. You know, I like it. You know, there's not too many arts that I don't like because I like to look at the cultural oppression or pressures that made that art. You know, so when you look at the black man, some of the pressures is what caused us to be so defensively sound. And it's not just fighting. Look at Allen Iverson with the crossover. Look at us in football. Like, we don't just run with the football. You know what I'm saying? We don't, like, everything we do has that defensive nature, you know, and you know, even the Shaka Zulu being considered one of the first generals who used what do you call it, the horns
short spear,
strategy and stuff, like had his fastest runners as the horns running around you, and the head of the bull was his most experienced fighters coming toward you. So before you knew it, he surrounded you. So all of these, and you know, even hit and run tactics on how you fight a bigger army and stuff like that. So I think all of that to me is what I love about fighting arts, like Dombi, like the fighting art Dombi out there in Africa, where they wrap up one hand with the rope, and they kind of like, you know,
Senegal.
this cultural spirit, you know, stories that make that art relevant. Well, we can look at it on the outside and say, why he's wrapping his hands in rope? Like, there's some deep shit happening there, and to me, that's why I'm open to all arts. Like, you know, there's a reason why I have so many arts under my belt, and it's because I love all arts. I love the culture. Like, you think of the Chinese, it was the Manchurians that kept knocking them over. That they said, shit, we gotta learn how to fight like a crane. We better do some Wing Chun. You know what I'm saying? We gotta learn how to fight the Manchurians. They keep taking us over. Genghis Khan up in here, you know, killing us. So they became Chinese people created Kung Fu. You know, so that's what, to me, I like the stories behind arts. So Salat, Panatukan, I love all of them. I love all of them.
Yo, that's so dope that you touched upon that, because I look at it like this is our martial art, and I like how you incorporate different things. It reminds me of, like, I'm a hip hop baby. I'm a 70s baby. You know what I'm saying? So really, it reminds me of hip hop, because you have that platform and you can sample different stuff and put it into that foundation, put it on the beat. You can cut up some jazz, you can cut up some Wing Chun, you can sample some Muay Thai, but you can put it on that beat of our thing, our homegrown thing, born out of our circumstances, man. Like, you said some real stuff, because Pops used to tell me about the karate weapons, like how the sai used to be the pitchfork, and it was born out of the you know what I'm saying, the Okinawans trying to fight oppression, and they couldn't have weapons, so they used their farm equipment, you know, to fight. So that's so dope. That's so dope, man. What else did I have? Oh yeah, and that good point on that Krav Maga. Anybody looking, you gonna go to jail if you use that Krav Maga to fight. I lived in Israel a couple of years. You gonna go to jail.
Fact, I'm saying, listen, if you in the lanes, man, trying to do Krav Maga, just get that commissary money together, because they got laws for people like you. If you think you can just go around breaking necks and stuff, you're gonna see the other martial art, the jujitsu system hit you hard, and they got a mean left hook. So I try to keep it real, like and a lot of the reasons why we do martial arts, because we all got fantasies. You walking with your girl or with your mother, someone tried to do something, you bust it, you jump into your stand, you kick ass. That's cool. We all had a fantasy that brought us into the reality. Now the reality is, you become so good at what you do, you can talk your way out of a situation. I had a good brother that came to challenge me. We did some push hands. He stuck his finger all of my pressure points. I'm like, brother, cool down. So it kind of got rough. I had to kick his feet from under him. He came back around. He wanted to play around. It got a little physical, and he got mad, and it eventually led to him. I'm sitting down, and he stood over me, and he was like, well, like, you're no real teacher. I'll fight you in front of your students. And, he went on and on. And when he finished, I said, well, maybe when you finish talking, we can get this fight started. And then he looked at me, I looked at him, and nothing happened. So what it is, most people don't want to fight. Nobody really wants to fight. I'm a fighter, and I don't want to fight. But what fighting does, it gives you the confidence to walk away from a fight. Because as my teacher Wilson Pitts would always say, like, who fights? The people who don't know how to. And if you go to World Star Hip Hop, you can watch me be proved right. Because you'll never go to World Star Hip Hop and ever see a fight of two professional fighters that somehow got mad at each other and decided to kick each other's ass out in the public view. We don't see it, because guess what? Those guys would never do it. They got so much confidence, they can look at you and say, nah, son, I'm going to the after party. I ain't got no time for your nonsense. And they can walk away from you. So the best reason of learning how to fight teaches you how not to fight, and gives you the confidence to walk away from a fight.
Wow, this is dope, because I actually and you touched on some things earlier about the older generation, and like this is dope, because there's been so many synchronicities today, because earlier I was talking with one of my brethren about culture, like, and that's so important, what you're talking about having that confidence, and just knowing you're going to walk away from that situation, because your reflexes, you're going full tilt. You know what I'm saying? It's not for play. It's not for play. That button, he's going to go to sleep. So
that's right.
Let me get, so, you just brought so many things to mind about using 52 blocks. Like, this is what I'd like to see. Maybe a challenge for you, challenge to use this for restorative justice, because we had a program here, and unfortunately there was some crooked stuff in the mix, because when you get into nonprofits and things like that, like, it gets dirty. People don't even know about that. But even trying to help our people, it gets real. Like, I don't know how it goes out east. Out here in the Midwest, it's so much corruption, but that's another story. So we were actually teaching the guys like Tai-Chi and Qigong as a bridge for conflict resolution, like on some restorative justice. We were basically catching kids. We had an agreement with the system here to catch kids like that with first-time offenders and stuff, teach them these techniques to keep them out of stuff. And I would really like to see that for 52 blocks, because I think a lot of these kids on the street, the thing is like, we don't feel like we have our own culture here. And I'm real big. I'm deep into Africa. I know my African roots and things like that, but we have certain cultural formations that we have made under duress here in the States. And this, it's a bridge back to Africa, but the thing with these kids, I think, is like all the OGs are damn near gone. They're on that pipe. They locked up. They in the ground. You know, and it's on guys in our generation's age to link these guys back with something more substantial than the culture that they're giving the Mollies, the Percocets, and, you know, being chump punks that just want to shoot and can't even aim, you know, can't even shoot straight. You know, because I just remember back in my day, I used to run with the GDs here. Back in the days, we got some beef with each other. We had some gloves right in the hood.
That's right.
Put them gloves on then.
That's right.
And then after we smoking, we sipping, you know, we cool.
That's it. It's done. And that, but see, that's real stuff. That's real. That's real training. That you know, 52 when I was coming up, it was way that it was an avenue that brothers could give you something. Back in my time, brothers wanted to give you something on your journey. They wanted to say like, yo, you know, you're gonna get into a fight, youngin. You should learn, you know, block yourself, youngin. You know, you gotta learn. And that's why 52 was so relevant there. They was trying to teach it. Nowadays, that's gone. And I think it has to be rebuilt because nature didn't make it a mistake that you know, because it's the old that helps the young. Imagine if you wiped out all the old, these young, they wouldn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's the old that can lean back and give the young experience on their journey. So that has to be rebuilt. Our whole line of the OGs stepping in and stepping up with real information. And that's another thing. The OGs can't be frauds. You got to have real information. You had to really study your information. You had to live that information. If you did all those things, you need to be at the forefront, like Burly, and trying to change the dynamic and the conversation of confidence. And that's the greatest thing that fight in office. Like nothing can make you feel better about yourself than knowing you can defend yourself in a sticky situation. Gucci, you know, a bank full of money, nothing is iller than knowing you got yourself. So 52 gives you that, and that's what we pushing. And I just think it's dope that y'all gave me this platform to do, you know, to do what I do, which is, you know, verbalize this too. You know, a lot of people see me on the videos and they don't get a chance to hear me talk and hear how I feel. You know, because I've had the questions like, I see you out there, you know, it seems like you know, you only teaching white people, but I think people view it the wrong way. You know, everybody can attack the beast from a different angle, and we're not calling white people the beast, or I'm not going into that direction. I'm just saying this: everybody can exercise what they bring to the rebellion in their own way. What I do is I take Black excellence anywhere to show to any culture. And it's not a disrespect, it's for culture to show you that this is what we do in our culture and you can probably use it and we can learn something from your culture. So that's why I'll go anywhere, and there's no specific range for me to be at. But of course, this is all for my brothers and sisters. So, you know, that's my way of presenting what my culture does good and what we do well in our excellence in fighting. So, you know, and like I said, and everybody else can do it their own way, you know, your secret rebellions, the hit squads, whatever you got to do. But this is just how Lyte Burly does it. And it's all about, you know, educating that this is our art form. We do have an art form. You know, many arts we've kept alive. We kept Kung Fu alive. You know, if you go in the hood, you can see all the Chinese restaurants to add to what I'm saying is we kept martial arts alive. You know, Channel 5 Kung Fu, the 70s, it was us that kept Kung Fu alive. You know, I don't know if Chinaman been giving us enough credit, but there's a reason why there's 4 Chinese restaurants on every block in every hood, because we supported them. And we need to support our own now. We supported enough people. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are people that accepts anybody. If you go in the ghetto, you'll see Chinese people living on the 4th floor. But go in the Chinese ghetto and see how many Black people you can see in there. So us as a people, we accept anybody. There's nothing wrong with it. That's what makes us great. But what we have to do now is accept ourselves and support our martial art, 52 blocks. And then through there, through that you can love any art. Like I love Wing Chun, PA-KUA. You know, I love other arts because I love my art first. So that way I can love any art. So, you know, if you part of the culture, then you should be doing 52 just because. You know, even if you don't want to learn how to fight, you should be doing it just because.
That's what it is. So before we wrap it up,
Yes,
Ben, you got
sir.
anything else before we get out of here? We done took enough for this.
Lyteburly.com. Yeah, I'm ready. You got ready. You got to be quick with your plug. I'm like, Lyteburly.com. Learn-martialarts.com. The illest online course, 52 block course in the world. The only 52 block online course. Like I said, Lyteburly.com. 8 digital downloads. We got the cards. You know what I'm saying? We got the book. Legendary Art. If you ain't got this book, you got to get this book. I'm breaking down some serious science in this book. You know, you can get it at my website, lyteburly.com. I'm gonna have the digital books, Kelsey Sutton, Girl Power, tips for a warrior, anybody that's just into the deep mental state of fighting. Lyteburly52 at Yahoo, Lyteburly52 blocks at Hotmail. 347-816-5357. Once again, that's 347-816-5357. Now that number is temporary, but it'll lead you to my real number. And if you got any questions, you want to reach out, you want to take a class, you want to bring me to your city, whatever, call that number. Lyte Burly pick up. Ain't no operators, ain't no secretaries. It's Lyte Burly himself. So salute to the brothers for having me on the stage and putting me in this position to do my talking. Skull and bones forever, you know. Hands up, chin down, rumble, young man, rumble.
All right. We out of here, fam. Peace.